Hi!
Managing Director of Mr. President, thank you so much for coming to join us
Thank
for
you
an
for
after work
having
natter.
me.
What does after work mean to you?
Which work, I think, is the question. It's so funny because, you know, you see lots of the team like hop up and leave and go off to their classes at the end of the day. And my end of the day doesn't finish for ages because, you know, finish work, come home, go and get into bed with Jack and read some stories, and then go and sit on Frankie's bed and have a chat with her if I can at the end of the day. And then I'm usually done by about 9, at which point I'm just ready to lie in my bed.
It's really important to encourage that downtime or encourage that, you know, using your parasympathetic part of the brain so that you can actually de-stress. So for me, it's going for a walk and doing a phone call, like getting outside. Do you try and encourage the team to find out what works for them?
Yeah, definitely. I think giving them the trust and the time and the space to enable them to find their way. But really, it's not for me to decide how they de-stress. It's just giving them the opportunity, the tools and the opportunity to do it, and encouraging them, leading by example, and encouraging them to take the time to do it themselves as well. I try not to make work too much of a rigid structure. Once we all came back from the pandemic and got back into working in the office, there was no pressure on anyone to be there at specific times. It was very much encouraged to use the space and to use the time to be together, to collaborate, to hang out, to talk. So they're not putting any pressure on anyone to be there if it doesn't work for them. So there's tons of parents who work at Mr. P. They've all got different routines, different age kids. People live inside and outside of London.
So you and I have talked about this. I work really well if the kids weren't running around having breakfast. I would work my best from 7 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And you would do your best work probably from 5 till 7 p.m.
Yeah.
What you're great at, Mr. President, is trying to get everybody to figure that out themselves.
Yeah,
rather
definitely.
than having that real structure of a company where you have to fit in.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And that flexibility really is about flexing both ways. So yes, we offer a flexible working environment because we want people to be able to flex their home and their work life, because we think that actually if we enable them to do that and have their independence and have their autonomy, they will be much better at their jobs. And to date, that has proven to be correct. But in the same vein, the flexibility works our way too. So if there is a pitch, if there is a big meeting, you know, we are all in on a Monday. The bits around the edges is really up to them. So the more you are structured and rigid with people, the less they want to come in. If you make them feel that they have the freedom, because they do have the freedom, and you respect their boundaries and you give them the time and space to run their own schedule, and really it's about trust, the more they want to be there.
I think it's really interesting how you've built the company on trust and flexibility.
Yeah.
I think we have, you know, a mixture of clients, some of whom are a lot more mandated about the hours and the times. With some of the younger people coming into advertising, it's quite hard to have that from the start.
Yes.
And I think what they miss out on is a lot of learning through osmosis, sitting in a room with someone 5 days a week and learning that way.
Definitely.
So how do you combat that? And how do you teach them to work in a more autonomous way?
Yeah. I mean, it's a real challenge. The important thing I think to remember is juniors just need good managers and good support. It's really just about teaching them a way of working.
And setting expectations.
Yeah, setting expectations. And that's something that cannot be ever underestimated. If you're a good manager, you understand that you've got someone working for you who is learning, and you need to tell them what they need to do. I haven't questioned someone's performance for a really long time. And I think that's because we have a really open dialogue about performance. If someone is not there, or, you know, doesn't feel present, or isn't putting in enough effort, or isn't bringing the right energy, you can spot it a mile off, and it's probably because they're just not happy. In which case, that's a conversation to have too, and that's fine. Like, not everybody fits in at the same place. It doesn't always have to work.
But it also could be a temporary unhappiness due to external reasons. So it's about understanding what's going on.
And providing the opportunity to open up and talk about it.
When I started, it was all about fear. I definitely started in a culture where you were scared of failing rather than excited to exceed expectations.
I think different workplaces need different cultures. There are working environments, fast-paced work environments where actually competition is what drives people and makes people better. And there are people who thrive on that. Fear is also another one, or time pressure. You know, there's lots of differing working cultures that work for different jobs. The culture that I need in my creative agency at Mr. P is a place where people feel they are able to do their jobs and do them well and have a good time doing them. And I've learned through working in this industry for many, many, many years, if you create an environment from that, you get the absolute best product. Because if people are like super happy, they're enjoying themselves, they're empowered, and I don't mean like this is easy happy. Challenging is better. Hard, gnarly problems are better. But if you're doing them with a team that feel really empowered and excited about it and just want to crack it, even in the difficult times, they know they're part of something, that's when you get the best work, and that's when you get the best vibes, and that's when people really apprapate being there and want to come to work.
I wish I worked for you. You sound great.
You can. Come.
You don't want me, mate. I'm a nightmare.
I went to Who's Your Mama event a couple of weeks ago. It's a brilliant organisation, massively encourage anyone to join that group of mentoring as a mentor, as a mentee. And the event was all about your personal board. So you have an advisory board, you have a management board in a business, but actually what you need is a board of people around you who support you and you can lean into. And they don't know that they're on your board, and you're not setting up a board and having a board meeting, but they're a series of experts in whatever field, whether they are a really good friend that's brilliant at listening, or someone who works in the industry and shares experience. Having a group of people around you that you can lean into and use. And it's a two-way street. Like I'm as much part of their board. We're on the same board. We support each other.
Totally.
That's what we do.
So these are the people you'd pick the phone up to, either in a moment of stress, crisis, or just to discuss a topic?
Yeah, definitely. I think they're people that there's a constant dialogue with, probably on WhatsApp, of checking in every couple of weeks, trying to find time for coffees on a regular basis to catch up, and 100% being able to pick up the phone to in a moment of crisis. I mean, I literally did it with you a couple of weeks ago. I was like...
You had a good old chat.
Yeah, I'm having the worst day, Anna.
I've been there.
Yeah. I think I left you a voice note and you picked up the phone and you were like, "You're right, babe." And then we had a great chat. It's those moments where you call on your board to help guide you through. Yeah. And that's a really important thing, and something that I massively encourage for other people.
I actually love that, because I don't think I could do this job without that.
Yeah.
The more senior you become, the slightly more lonely it can become at times of making those important decisions.
Sometimes it's easier to just kind of air that in a neutral space.
And I think perspectives outside the industry are also really important, because we get caught up in our own crap in advertising.
There's so many nuances in advertising.
Whereas I go talk to my doctor friend and I'm like, "Oh, right, that's actually more important."
Yeah,
that's actually important.
Yeah.
Finish this sentence. If I wasn't in advertising, I would be a...
managing director of another business. I think I've found my sweet spot. I think I'm really good at just running businesses, and I would just be doing it somewhere else for someone else.
What's the best piece of advice you can give those about to start their career in advertising?
Be open and, honest to who you are, willing to learn, willing to have a go at anything. I think that's really important. Just give stuff a go, say yes. I had no idea that I was going to end up being a managing director of a business. I just took the path I took because I was leaning into what felt right at the time. It's what I leaned into and felt like I was good at.
Thanks, mate. I think we're done.
Woo! Yeah! Said something about leaning in.
This is where two 40-something-year-old women can't remember a bloody thing they've just said.
You just said a really, really important thing. And
I said something great. What was it?